Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and today I'm going to review Toy Story 4 in Blu Ray 3D. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos every single day. You can also find me over Twitter and Instagram at Movie Guy 365, as well as over at the Disney Magic Hour podcast. I will leave a link for that in the description. It is here, the 3D import of Toy Story 4 has arrived on Blu-ray, and I'm very excited to get my hands on this. I'm pretty much excited to get my hands on any 3D movie these days because, you know, they're hard to get a hold of here in the States. If you want anything from any studio still producing them, you have to import them from internationally, so at least for here in America. But Toy Story 4 3D Blu-ray. Now, as far as the movie itself goes, I was a bit of a mixed bag on it. I think 3 was a perfect ending, and I feel 4 was kind of, if they were going to kind of do a reboot or something with new toys, a new story, I think I would have been 100% behind that. That way we don't really have any kind of lingering, because 3 I felt was a perfect ending. And I after seeing 4, I don't know, I just kind of feel that they kind of tarnished the end of 3, especially the whole Andy situation, Woody's arc and everything like that. I understand why they made certain choices, and I think under different, you know, as I said, a different amount of toys or a different story, I think, you know, as far as that goes, I think it would have been a better film. But it's still okay. I'll go back to it here and there, and I did do a review of the 4K. If you want to check that out, I'll link that at the end of this video. But anyway, so let's talk about the 3D, but first, before we do anything about picture quality and audio, let's take a quick look at the packaging. Alright, Toy Story 4 is here in glorious slipcover. I know I've recently been importing titles that have not had the slipcover, and these have been brand new titles, and mostly that's from Amazon UK. So I started ordering exclusively from Zavi, and I've not had a problem yet. They've all had their slipcovers, which I really appreciate. So, Toy Story 4, here we go. I like it kind of, I've seen the original artwork for the first 3 films in 3D. I don't have those yet, but the artwork kind of matches. Even the spine has kind of like the similar, so they look nice and uniform on your shelf if you have the first 3 already. Rear cover looks really good. A lot of information there. And of course, just your basic standard Blu-ray cover fare. So just the same artwork. And then interior wise, got nice cover, just your blue background, nothing special. And then some nice artwork on the disc. I actually do like this. I like that when they still provide that. So, all right, enough about that. Let's talk about the 3D picture and the audio. As far as the picture quality goes, I feel that the overall picture quality is really good. Of course, you don't get that bright HDR goodness that you get with a 4K disc, but I feel that the film itself is so photorealistic. The colors lend themselves nicely. There's black levels that are really deep, and the detail is fantastic in this. I mean, just the near photorealism that we get with the animation. I mean, even if you compare the first movie to this one, if you compare 3 to this one, you can tell that there is a drastic change in technological advances as far as making these movies go. It looks amazing. It looks great. Now let's talk about the real meat of the disc, which is the 3D. Now, overall, of course, you can judge 3D, you know, on many merits. 2 things basically pop out in immersion. I'm not much of a pop-out guy. I think it's appropriate here and there, but when a film relies way too much on it, that kind of pulls me out. I do enjoy it, just very sparingly. Now, I'm a very immersive type of guy. I want my world to be immersive and feel immersive. Now, as far as this disc goes, I feel that it does very strong immersion overall. There are occasional pop-outs, but they don't happen too frequently, which as a viewer, I appreciate. But just the immersive feel of Toy Story 4 is relatively good. It's not the best I've ever encountered. Once again, I think it's because, like, animation itself, while there are certain movies that do it well, I think that, you know, for the most part, it's kind of a tricky situation, especially in this day and age. But overall, I think it's a very strong presentation. As I said, it's not the best, but it's definitely not the worst. Overall, I mean, things like, you know, when they go to the fair and then Buzz is flying through the air, that almost is like kind of like, you know, vertigo inducing, just the overall scope and spatial awareness that you find yourself in that situation. But a majority of the movie does take place in interiors, and, you know, especially at the antique shop, you know, you're looking up and you get that sense of oh my god, that's so high up, especially from a toy's perspective. But there are little close encounters that just don't make very much use of the 3D, you know, when they're kind of, the camera's kind of panned on them relatively close-like, and, you know, that kind of thing. But, you know, that's to be expected in all sorts of things, you know, in this environment. But like I said, I think it's overall a pretty strong 3D image. If you're a very immersive, heavy type person, if you're relying too much on pop-outs, I think you'll probably be a little disappointed in this. But I think overall, it's a strong 3D picture. Now, as far as audio goes, DTS 7.1, and it's a fairly good track. And I know there's a history of Disney recently where, especially in their Atmos tracks, they play things a little bit on the low side. And I think that pretty much, I feel that this is an on par 7.1 surround track, if not a slightly edge better. It just sounds more lively. It sounds more like you're kind of in a proper sound stage. You're not having to jam up the volume to make adjustments. It's a good track. I mean, there is plenty of immersive surround sound action going on. You know, as I mentioned, the scene with Buzz flying through the air, you get that little whoosh behind you, and the sounds of the carnival fill the air, and then, of course, things that are happening, you know, on screen with dialogue and that sort of thing. They sound good. They're crystal clear, very easy to understand everything. The LFE kicks in a little bit. It's a subtle LFE. It's nothing that's going to blow your speakers out, but you know, this being Toy Story for Pete's sake. But there are moments when you definitely get that, you know, rear action, surround sound, proper, and of course this like little occasional boom here. I think it's overall pretty strong track. Now, I'm really going to give Toy Story 4 a B+ overall grade. It's not a reference quality 3D image. I mean, there's definitely films in the animation category I feel have done it a little bit better, but that's definitely not a knock against the disc. If you're a 3D collector, you absolutely want to check this one out. I think it's worth putting on your shelf. And one of the things I do appreciate is, you know, as I kind of touched on a little bit in the unboxing, is the spines. Like for a movie that was made years and years after the originals, and they put these out on disc, they actually match these spines a little bit. I mean, this is Toy Story 4. I kind of did a double check when I first got the disc. I was like, did they give me the right one? You know, but like in today, because of, you know, current covers and steelbooks and that kind of world, they don't bother seem to match everything. And I like things to look a little more uniform. But unfortunately, I personally don't own the first Toy Story 3s, or 1 through 3 in 3D. That's something I'm hoping to change in the coming year. But yeah, I think this is a good introduction for me in the 3D Toy Story world, and I can't wait to see the other movies and check those out. And I'll do reviews of the channel as well. So let me know in the comments below if you picked up Toy Story 4 and what your thoughts were. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and put out videos every single day. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.